Level 1. Liquid Fixer. Before sunrise, you open the cracked laptop over instant noodle cups. Across the missing key, you drag one catching finger. You compare highlighted liquid snippets around one broken product form ID. At the kitchen table, you record proof into the cheap microphone. Across the cracked phone, you read merchant messages from different time zones. Under 12 angry messages, you reproduce the checkout error. Before editing, you press the duplicate theme button on the live store. On the apartment floor, you send cold DMs from a thrift sleeve. With one hand, you steady the monitor balanced on programming books. At the pawn shop, you cradle the used charger like luxury gear. You trace the browser console error to an abandoned app conflict. Before the review lands, you send the refund confirmation email. Inside theme history, you show the merchant untouched files. During the midnight call, you brace against the cracked chair leg. You select the backup theme dropdown before the owner refreshes. A night bus window smears city lights around your checkout rescue. Across 3 devices, you test every checkout button. Inside downloads, you sort candle, mug, sock, and soap photos. You point at the scope note under the free section demand. Over spilled coffee, you force one calm answer. You save a reusable liquid block inside the code snippet. Beside the screen, you tape the proof checklist with 4 rules. You open the chargeback notice on the empty freelance profile. In the rain, you grip the wet phone case with locked jaw. At the table, you sort $1,200 per month into envelopes. You attach a before-after video file to every delivery. Under your name, you read 5 stars beside the completed job badge. On the profile editor, you replace bug fixes with store rescue. Level 2. Theme Builder. You build a homepage hero beneath the new MacBook lid. At the scanner, you slide the co-working access card through founder traffic. Beside the laptop, you arrange skincare samples before the discovery call. Across the swatch deck, you mark the changed boutique colors. You rebuild the variant selector for size, color, and stock warnings. Under the desk, you place the clean black backpack. On a stained napkin, you sketch the jewelry store map. Inside shipping zones, you match the handwritten price sheet. Before the meeting, you check the basic smartwatch. On the co-working table, you frame products inside the folding light box. You compress 50 blurry product images inside one upload folder. Against the signed scope, you block 10 extra pages. With 2 fingers, you tap the contract signature page. You create the product template thumbnail for catalog consistency. On the whiteboard, you circle 3 store launch dates. You send a walkthrough video from the recording progress bar. Inside contractor chat, you read unanswered collection page promises. On the projector, you face the broken streetwear section. Beside the closed chat, you name a fresh branch. You rebuild the collection grid across every responsive breakpoint. Across 3 devices, you refresh the test store under pressure. A projector order pop-up turns streetwear launch night into proof. Over the invoice reminder, you hold the delayed payment line. Against the half-closed laptop, you wait for the milestone. At the bank counter, you read $5,000 per month stamped. You organize every launch asset inside a clean folder. From one completed store, you build a package checklist document. On the proposal, you write a fixed project price. You frame the testimonial screenshot beside the launched store image. Across the notebook cover, you underline repeatable launch process twice. Level 3. Micro Agency Owner. Before video calls, you unlock the brass office key above the cafe. On the glass door, you press the crooked logo sticker. With the leased car key, you carry product boxes upstairs. Beside the standing desk, you receive the cardboard skincare box. You turn the milestone board into a fixed launch package. Between video tiles, you point at the sprint list. You mark the revision limit clause against unlimited revision pressure. At the window, you steady the printed scope sheet. Above cafe noise, you review the product card code diff. Across the checklist, you build a launch gate for approvals. You adjust the studio microphone arm for client walkthroughs. Under the camera light, you film the onboarding video. From the coffee founder, you examine the scribbled product receipt. Across the map, you create placeholder collection architecture. Before the sales call, you pull on the branded hoodie. On the whiteboard, you draw colored dependency arrows across launch dates. You start stand-up beside the timer and client thread. Inside the rejected draft, you refuse the bad fit client. After 3 missing weeks, you open the late asset folder. Beside empty image slots, you stop the blame early. You assign skincare, coffee, and gym builds on the crowded board. Across the payment toggle, you catch blocked international cards. Along the sample shelf, you arrange coffee bags, shakers, and serum jars. 3 store launches glow across the wall of monitors. On the clipboard, you mark final QA passes. At the office door, you hand out 2 branded access cards. Over payroll notes, the accountant says $15,000 per month. On the blank return policy page, you stop final publishing. You save the blame email screenshot after the late asset attack. Around the whiteboard, you redraw the process with hard deadlines. You add the responsibility clause to freeze assetless launches. Inside the welcome kit, you send deadlines and approval rules. At the printer, you hold the logo contract header. Beside the margin calculator, you open the contractor rate message. With the margin calculator, you negotiate through launch pressure. Late at night, you raise the standing desk above the cafe. Into the support column, you move finished clients after launch. On the homepage editor, you replace websites with controlled Shopify launches. Level 4. Retainer Shop. You point at the stand-up agenda card over unpaid weekend coverage. Inside the office suite, you review the support ticket queue with staff. You lock the nicer apartment door in clean leather sneakers. Beside product shelves, you grind coffee with the espresso portafilter. Across the waterfall chart, you trace the slow review widget. Across maintenance Kanban, you sort emergencies, tests, and app updates. You open the avoided disaster log under the founder complaint. On the variant card, you design a split test around inventory rules. With the refund flow diagram, you explain live support logic. Along the shelf, you label serum bottles, coffee tins, and leggings. You compare the replenishment discount sheet against marketing changes. At the conference room door, you gather marketing and support. You test discount stacking inside the subscription rule matrix. At rehearsal, you mark emergency owners on the phone tree. Beneath the office stairs, you plug the electric bike charger. During stand-up, you watch $38,000 per month on the retainer counter. You complete the bug reproduction sheet for the junior developer. Before subscription installation, you build the rollback checklist. By morning stand-up, you mark the beauty launch room booking card. Black Friday rehearsal piles pizza, sleeping bags, carts, alerts, and tickets. Beneath ringing phones, you watch the overflowing order printer. Inside the warehouse, you inspect the refill box pallet. You map app dependencies across the beauty wall. From the packing line, you pressure the vendor call harder. Before launch, you open broken bundle pricing at checkout. Against the palm-marked table, you assign rollback, vendor, and comms. You test one-time, refill, and VIP carts in one row. Before closing time, you complete the incident report template. Beside crisis notes, you open the beauty renewal invite. You turn the prevention timeline toward the beauty founder. Beneath active retainers, you place products from surviving brands. You split the service menu into emergency support and growth. Across the vertical report, you tag beauty subscriptions as strongest. Outside the lit office, you face reliable sedan headlights. On the revenue report, you circle beauty subscriptions for 3 calls. Level 5. DTC Niche Specialist. Inside the studio, you stack subscription boxes toward the ceiling. Between founder calls, you pass the scheduling tablet. You close the better car door before the launch meeting. Across the sketch, you redraw replenishment, upsell, and cancellation flow. You mark the bundle board where repeat logic breaks. Beside the studio softbox, you wait for final campaign images. Across display racks, you arrange serums, gloss, candles, and jars. On the calendar, you match emails to replenishment days. You hold the unsigned creator brief under the landing page demand. Inside the launch room, you shut the glass door. You test purchase, prepaid, and VIP paths on the checkout card. Across the survey chart, you change the save offer. For the studio corner, you sign the permanent lease plaque. At the sample table, you set down the takeout bag. You compare packed bundles against the bundle count sheet. Along packing tables, you inspect the subscription insert card. Beauty launch day floods lights, influencers, boxes, emails, and orders. Beside the graph, you raise the retainer through repeat purchase. In the launch room, you watch $70,000 per month on the counter. Across 3 clipboards, you study launch inventory gaps. Under the rain-soaked awning, you take the warehouse call. Beside the live stream tripod, you patch the subscription discount. At the birthday table, you face the single candle. You open the mismatched export during the weekend drop collapse. On the studio stairs, you stare at your confetti-covered shoe. You place the named framework card inside the sales deck. Against the lowball email, you refuse the general developer label. Along the showroom aisle, you arrange client inventory samples. After the subscription guy introduction, you accept the showroom name card. You study the migration binder for warehouse and ERP risks. Over the declined theme job email, you choose the Plus discovery call. Level 6, Plus migration crew. Warehouse dock lights frame old labels, barcodes, forklifts, and pallets. You pin migration checklists across every wall like flight plans. Across the conference table, you place premium laptops. During import, you monitor the product progress bar through naming debates. You map Magento variants across the variant mapping grid. Across the tax sheet, you compare logic for finance approval. With the warehouse scanner, you test inventory sync. On the glass wall, you trace the 3PL integration diagram. You build redirect rules across the redirect rule map. Beside the Tesla cable, you change into launch week shoes. You hold the exception SKU tag before the operations director. With the scanner grip, you test the broken SKU yourself. Beside the QA headset, you patch edge cases. On the calendar, you mark the freeze window before final sync. You audit the giant SKU spreadsheet across IDs, barcodes, and redirects. Against the cutover clock, you reject the homepage change request. At the cutover clock, you point design beyond launch survival. By the ERP speaker, you coordinate consultants, reps, and engineers. You test inventory sync with a risky category sample card. Over the chair, you hang the tailored jacket in the glass room. On speakerphone, the banker says $130,000 per month gross. Against the overtime board, you mark launch timing. You split products, redirects, payments, and inventory into cutover windows. Inside checkout settings, you verify finance and legal requirements. Migration night shows old platform, Shopify Plus, sync, redirects, and scanners. During cutover, you open the failed sync error log. In the warehouse aisle, you assign 1 lead per failure path. Besides scanned orders, you rebuild the variant table. Across the red redirect column, you watch old URLs fail. You read the CFO sign-off form before accepting risk. You press the green QA stamp onto the Go Live sheet. At the warehouse station, you hold the first Plus order slip. Beneath the 3 a.m. clock, you walk through stock checks. You build the audit sheet for orders, redirects, analytics, feeds, accounts. Beside the warehouse door, you open the executive cost memo. At the rolling warehouse door, you gesture toward moving operations. Behind the glass conference wall, you tour the QA room. You pin the migration case study photo beside tiny store wins. Across the proposal section, you add risk language and QA gates. You create the command center template for high-risk migrations. In the pitch deck, you replace screenshots with zero downtime proof. Level 7. DTC Growth Partner. Before the flight, you roll premium carry-on wheels through the lounge. During the product drop call, you hold the business class boarding pass. At arrivals, you read the SUV pickup tablet. Launch day crosses arrivals, SUV, lobby, showroom, and loading dock. You tie checkout changes to stock depth between garment racks. Across the boardroom tablet, you prove value to the CFO. Across rack labels, you connect checkout changes to live inventory. Near the drop calendar, you check subscription logic. Beside the suitcase, you place the service department keycard. With the wholesale scanner, you design the B2B buying path. Before launch approval, you compare stock confirmation clipboards. On the warehouse floor, you check pick-pack timing against campaigns. Beside the skyline window, you book the service department. Along department signs, you scope loyalty, subscriptions, and international pricing. Under 4 city tags, you grip the carry-on. Against checkout risk, you mark the upsell flow diagram. With a marker, you divide the strategy board into 4 lanes. Between racks and warehouse teams, you present the roadmap. Product Drop Day packs HQ with racks, buyers, retention, operations, and checkout volume. Across the matrix, you approve duties, subscriptions, B2B, and loyalty. You count enterprise wire confirmations totaling $260,000 per month gross. Beside the demo kiosk, you study the cheap AI builder pitch. Before the bottleneck talk, you close the theme proposal. With the pricing flyer, you mark basic theme work replaceable. You rebuild the architecture offer sheet around operations and accountability. In the black SUV back seat, you dictate site-walk action items. Beyond vendor labels, you read the procurement scorecard. At the warehouse balcony rail, you point down at order flow. From the custom sticker, you reroute the launch calendar. Beside product samples, you open the stamped passport page. Multi-city launch week crosses lounges, HQs, studios, warehouses, and CFO rooms. Beside upcoming racks, you run the showroom workshop. Before launch scope hardens, you read the engineer risk note. In the room, you cross out the flashy feature card. You split the app roadmap into launch, post-launch, and experiments. During the enterprise call, you grip the chauffeur trunk handle. On the badge, you read Growth Partner instead of Developer. Beside the tray, you adjust the launch plan. Across regional flags, you map duties, routing, and support capacity. Before the president, you face the reference list calmly. Along the product hallway, you lead visitors through serious clients. From the balcony, you watch the warehouse shipping below. Against small build chasing, you pin the repositioning memo card. Level 8, Shopify Plus Partner. At reception, you lay partner badges across the tray. Before the boardroom, you check the understated luxury watch. Across the agenda, you review capacity, payroll, and pipeline. Across procurement red lines, you answer every clause without flinching. With fulfillment markers, you draw the executive risk route. The ecosystem event crowds agencies, app founders, partners, and merchants. Outside the hotel, you pass the black car curb light. You fold the app partner brochure around missing load test results. With one crease, you demand load test results beside the brochure. Before the workshop, you review the capacity clipboard. For the CFO, you simplify the checkout diagram. Around the table, you approve senior leadership payroll. You mount enterprise case studies across the portfolio wall. Against exclusivity, you reject the payment partner term sheet. At the stress test table, you evaluate apps, payments, ERP, logistics, subscriptions. Over the boardroom map, you host launches, migrations, and expansion. Hotel lobby merchants stream past the enterprise deal close. Beside the place card, you monitor procurement on speakerphone. During the safe exit argument, you hold the acquisition envelope. Across the table, you push the envelope past unopened champagne. You review security questionnaires, MSAs, data agreements, and enterprise SLAs. Across the chart, you build proof into every procurement stage. At the executive office door, you overlook the branded floor. At dinner, the board chair says $600,000 per month over retainers. After the warning, you read the delivery quality scorecard. You leave the unfinished dinner course for the launch room. Above the venue, launch teams cross QA, legal, payments, and warehouse readiness. Beside the global diagram, you recruit the senior architect. Through the weekly itinerary, you repeat badges, legal, procurement, and dinners. Beside the warning, you open the co-founder exit deck. On the terrace, you call leadership about owned assets. Outside the green room, you face 3 waiting app founders. You mark the referral folder for conflict review. With legal review, you stamp every conflict before sales. During office delivery, you speak into the panel microphone. After the panel, you sit behind the rear black car window. Inside the private dining room, you study enterprise place cards. On the menu, you sketch the checkout app idea. Around the quiet table, you hear the co-founder's empire question. You close the acquisition folder against selling fear. Glass walls hold workshops, legal review, partner calls, and launch teams. Inside the leadership drive, you create the owned assets folder. On the strategy wall, you group apps, templates, referrals, and targets. Level 9. Commerce Empire Founder. Inside the HQ garage, you pass the Lamborghini bay. A drone climbs over glass HQ, black cars, launch rooms, and trucks. Past the lobby wall, you guide clients through global products. In the command circle, you face squads, products, templates, and analysts. Across 4 teams, you collect different colored launch cards. Across the packet, you answer the enterprise client's renewal demand. Through the warehouse path, you lead executives past moving orders. Warehouse conveyors move products beneath overseas teams on giant screens. For 2 enterprise clients, you open the chauffeur car door. Through the jet window, you take the tarmac call. Beside regional leads, you sign the multi-brand deal folder. At the finance table, you watch 4 revenue teams flow separately. You mark the copied offer PDF from the cheaper competitor. From the tarmac, you invite the client toward the launch floor. 4 launch room feeds show US, UK, EU, and Australia teams. On the wall, you count 86 live Shopify Plus stores. From the penthouse window, you catch the app revenue alert. Into the acquisition meeting, you carry the speaker badge. Across the founder notebook, you hear the smaller agency's fear. You structure the integration chart around craft leadership and operations. At dinner, the board chair says $1,500,000 per month gross. You test owned app demos at the demo station. Across the template cover, you package the migration checklist. Beside policy pressure, you read the platform memo. Inside the app room, you erase the old pricing whiteboard. The margin dashboard flashes copied offers, tighter apps, and renewal-proof demands. Inside proof packs, you combine revenue, uptime, fulfillment, savings, expansion. Around the operations map, you hear global warehouse reports. The montage board jumps through HQ, warehouses, stages, tarmac, dinners, and command rooms. At the jet stairs, you finish the checkout rebuild call. You read the in-house transition letter from the major client. Along the visitor path, you let squads explain the machine. Before speaking, you watch the EU launch green light return. Across the regional map, you pin targets, partners, vendors, and accounts. Inside the ledger, you balance app revenue, referrals, and retainers. Beside the senior leader, you read the complexity risk note. Before the live launch, you leave the founder chair empty. You draw the governance tree for independent team decisions. From the mezzanine, you see launch rooms, feeds, teams, and executives. Toward jet stairs, you walk past the Lamborghini. Beside case studies, you hang the framed first freelance review. Past regional nameplates, you move without touching a keyboard. From the glass rail, you watch the self-running launch floor below. The whole Empire panorama holds 86 stores, conveyors, screens, cars, Lamborghini, and jet.